What is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about Eminem's new album and why I think it might be trash. So, first of all, let's start with the basics of Eminem's whole career. He basically benefited off of his controversial lyrics, which was his Slim Shady side. But clearly, as you can tell in the Marshall Mathers LP2, Marshall Mathers LP1, I mean, Slim Shady and Marshall Mathers or Eminem aren't different people whatsoever. They're the exact same. The only thing that sets the Slim Shady LP and the Marshall Mathers LP apart is Stan. And so, clearly, they're not different whatsoever. Second of all, he kind of has this reputation for being the best rapper alive because he's white. He was the first white rapper to start doing stuff like that. And I get that he can rap well. It's not like it's just because he's white. That definitely has a big part of it. And then he released the Mathers LP2. Mathers LP2 was it was a lot more heartfelt. It was still aggressive, and it still sounded like Eminem. It was a lot more heartfelt, and that's kind of where the border of Slim Shady and Marshall Mathers started, was the Mathers LP2. Because the Mathers LP2 versus the Mathers LP1, very different. The Mathers LP2 versus the Slim Shady EP, very different. Now, his new album, people are freaking out about, because Dr. Dre is going to be producing it, and it's supposed to be this huge thing. But unless he can pull off another Mathers LP2 or Mathers LP1, I think it's going to flop, because those were definitely his two best albums. Relapse was good. Well, no, not Relapse. Relapse was okay, I guess. Recovery was really good. But the Mathers LP1 and the Mathers LP2 are kind of what put him out there. So unless he can do that again, I think it's over, unless he releases like a Slim Shady LP or Slim Shady EP too. Then he can just ride off of the name. Another thing is that people are talking about the Big Sean No Favors verses, his verse on that song. And it wasn't all that good at all. If that's how his album's gonna sound, I'm not gonna be happy with it. He used to be a lot more lyrical with a lot more wordplay, but then in Big Sean's No Favors, one of his most memorable lines is, "What I'm saying is cringeworthy, but I'm urinating on Fergie." And it's bad. It's not good music anymore. So if that's how his whole album's gonna sound now, I'm not going to be a fan of it at all. And then also Campaign Speech. Campaign Speech was very political, lyrical. It had some good wordplay in it. It sounded like Eminem. He was aggressive. So that had a good setup for the album. If that's how his album would have sounded, then that's great. But that's already past. I think that was the only part that he's going to do that with. I don't think it's going to sound like that, or his old stuff, because that didn't even sound too much like his old stuff. And then, again, the No Favors thing, he talks about Donald Trump again. So if this whole thing is going to be about Donald Trump or something, I think he needs to quit, because so far Donald Trump hasn't done like anything too terrible. What he wanted to do was bad, but so far what he's been doing, it's not all that bad. And I just think that everything that he's been doing has just kind of like backfired on him, I guess. Just because it hasn't really been all that great. I think what's happening is he's riding off of his name to get a lot of hype on it, and then he's just gonna ride off until he falls off again, which I think that he's definitely going to fall off. And then another thing is the SoundCloud thing I wanted to talk about. SoundCloud, we didn't know, possibly dying, and then Chance the rapper was trying to fix it, and he made one track in order to solve the SoundCloud problem. They were both so confident, yeah, SoundCloud's gonna stay, SoundCloud's gonna stay. Anthony Fantano made a video on his Fantano channel talking about how should we save SoundCloud. And I think, yes, we definitely should save SoundCloud, because a lot of people who just enjoy music and like making music, they could all just fall off completely, and they could have no ground to stand on. Because a lot of people on SoundCloud don't have the money or the buzz or anything to go off onto, like, go and pay to put it on Spotify or on iTunes or any of that stuff. So I think that that's a very big problem too if SoundCloud does die out, which it seems like it might. Because again, Chance the Rapper and Young Thug made one track in order to solve the SoundCloud thing. So that's really not going to help. So, yeah. That's all I really wanted to talk about today. That is it for this time, guys. Peace out.